Welcome everybody. My name is Jen. I am always grateful to be here with you all. Namaste. Today we are filming from Chelsea. We have George, Kate, and Jordan practicing together. We are going to be workshopping crow pose. Poses to prepare, poses to build strength so that you can find the courage to fly. It's going to be lots of fun. Today you are going to start laying on your back in Shavasana. Close your eyes. Empty all of the breath from your lungs. Take an enormous breath in through the nose. Open up the mouth, release the breath. Take a bigger breath in through the nose. Let a bigger breath out of your mouth. One more time, take an enormous breath in through your nose. Fill the body as much as you can with your breath. And then sip in just a little more air. Sip in a little more air. And just a little more air. Be full. Open up the mouth, let out a sigh. Now start to breathe in and out of your nose. Find your Ujjayi breath, a victorious breath, one that is deep, full, luscious, a breath that brings you into your body. Start to bring soft movements to your fingertips and your toes as you start to deepen your breath. And let your forehead rock left and right. Start to softly bend the knees, bring them into your chest one at a time. Wrap the forearms around the knees. Give yourself a big, juicy hug around the spine. Take a deep breath in. And hug yourself just a little tighter. Release the back of your head to the ground. Bring your fingertips to frame your ears. Elbows reach out towards the sides. Good. Lengthen your right leg towards the front of the room. Bring your right elbow towards your left knee. Take a gentle twist. Good. And then switch sides. Left elbow to right knee. Left leg long. Switch. Right knee to left. Left elbow to right. Right to left. Left to right. Now keep this going on your breath. Belly lifted, shoulders off of the mat. Start to feel the fire in your belly build and breathe into that fire. Breathe into that space. You're here for 3, 2, and 1. Bring both knees into your chest. Give yourself another hug around the spine. And then start to rock gently back and forth along the length of your spine. Back and forth, back and forth. I'm actually just kidding. Bring your knees into your chest once again. Give yourself a big hug. I want you to do crow pose on your back. Beautiful. Knees into the chest, big hug. Start to reach your arms straight up towards the sky. Palms flat. Bring the knees to the backs of your triceps. Now point the toes and squeeze the heels towards your butt and turn into this little crow pose. Make the connection. Feel the breath. And even notice here how much power and strength there is in your body to achieve this pose. Take one more big breath in. Wrap your forearms around your knees, give yourself a big juicy hug, and then start to rock back and forth along the length of your spine. At first, allow this rock to serve as a gentle massage to treat your body. And then you'll start to gain momentum. Take about 3 or 4 more rocks. Slide your hands to the backs of your knees. Rock on up to sit. Find a Navasana. Hands to the backs of the thighs. Lift your heart. Squeeze the big toes and the heels together as if your best friend is reaching you forward through your fingertips. Lift your heart. Float your palms forward. Take a deep breath in, lift your heart. As you exhale, lower halfway down and hover, Ardha Navasana. Inhale, lift up, Navasana. As you exhale, lower and hover. Do that 3 more times. The inhale lifts you up, belly lifted, heart bright. Exhale, lower. Inhale, 2. Exhale, lower. Inhale, 3. Exhale, lower, hold. Lift up and hold. Bring your knees into your chest, cross your shins. Make your way onto your hands and your knees. Find a tabletop position. Find your wrists underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. As you inhale, drop the belly, open the heart, and look up, cow pose. As you exhale, press into the ground, lift the belly, and round the spine for cat. Drop the belly for cow pose. Make the breath big. Work to widen the collarbones here. And as you exhale, round the spine and empty. Do this 1 more time on your own breath. Exaggerate the breath and fill up so much. As you exhale, empty everything out from inside. Stay empty. Tuck your toes and float your knees 2 inches off of the mat. Chin into the chest. The belly is lifted. The breath is still invited to this yoga party. So make the breath big, full. Downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. Lengthen the arms. Lengthen the legs. Bring your chin into your chest. Take a deep breath in. And let a deep breath out. As you inhale, come forward into plank pose. Heart reaches forward. Find a strong plank. Scoop the low belly in. Come onto the very tips of your toes. So move your heart an inch over the wrists. Press back, downward facing dog. Lift your hips. Bend your knees. Bring your chin into your chest. As you inhale, come forward into plank pose. Heart reaches forward. Find the top of a push-up, a strong plank from the resistance of the earth. Find strength in your body. Lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Last time, come forward into plank pose as you breathe in. Come onto the very tips of your toes. As you exhale, bring your right knee to your nose. As you inhale, plank pose, right foot meets the left. Exhale, left knee to your nose. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, right knee, left elbow, twist underneath. Plank pose as you breathe in. Left knee to right elbow as you breathe out. Plank pose as you inhale. Find a strong plank, gaze forward. Bend your elbows and lower knees, chest, chin are all the way down to the ground. Baby cobra as you inhale, press into the tops of the feet so much the knees lift, the heart lifts, the biceps hug in. As you exhale, bow your forehead to the ground. Through bent knees or through plank pose, press back, downward facing dog, hips high. All together, take a deep breath in. Open up your mouth and let the breath go. Lift your heels as you inhale. Bend your knees as you exhale. Look between your palms. Step, hop, or float to the top of the mat and then forward fold. Interlace your fingers behind your lower back with a soft bend in your knees. Palms touch, fists reach forward, the forehead bows in towards the shins. Can you close your eyes, release your thoughts? And find yourself in this moment. Take a deep breath in. Bow a little deeper as you breathe out. One more big inhale. Exhale, deepen. Release your arms. Put a big, generous bend in your knees. You bring your chin into your chest and slowly roll yourself up to stand. Release your arms. Your chin into your chest. Your head rolls up last. Close your eyes and for a moment, feel your feet rooted. Feel the heart bright. The strength in your body. It is from this grounding that you can fly. As you inhale, reach the arms forward and up, high prayer. Touch the palms above your head as you breathe in. As you exhale, forward fold over your legs. Bring your hands down to the ground. As you inhale, lift your heart. Step your right leg back to a low lunge. Heart lifts, collarbones are wide. As you exhale, downward facing dog. Lift up your hips. As you inhale, roll forward into plank pose. As you exhale, resist the earth and lower all the way to your belly, really slowly. Baby cobra, tops of the feet press into the ground. Hug the biceps in. Exhale, bow your forehead to the mat. This time, tuck the toes, lift your knees, lift your belly, press up into plank pose. Make sure the hips don't sag here. As you exhale, hips high, downward dog. Bend the knees. Take a deep breath in. Open up the mouth, release. Lift your heels as you inhale. Bend your knees as you exhale. Hop to the top of the mat on empty, and then fold. Sweep the arms forward and up, high prayer as you inhale, gaze up. As you exhale, bring your hand right back down to the ground, forward, fold. Step your left leg back to a low lunge. Your heart lifts as you breathe in, get long. As you exhale, hips high, downward facing dog. As you inhale, ripple forward into plank pose, let your heart lead. As you exhale, bend the elbows, chaturanga, this time hover. Upward facing dog, your heart lifts, the collarbones widen, even make sure the knees are lifted off of the mat. As you exhale, downward facing dog. Take a big breath in. Release the breath. Lift your heels as you inhale. Bend your knees as you exhale. Look forward, step, hop, or float to the top of the mat. The belly lifts, the feet meet your palms, and you fold. As you inhale, reach the arms up, high prayer, touch the palms, look up. As you exhale, fold over your legs, bring your hands down to the ground. This time, a soft bend in your knees, find lift in your heart as you breathe in. Plant your hands to the mat, step or hop into bent elbows, your chaturanga, your vinyasa. Upward dog as you breathe in. Downward dog as you breathe out. Empty all of the breath from inside. The heels lift, the knees bend, look forward, take a journey to the top of the mat, and then fold. Last time like this, as you inhale, sweep the arms up, high prayer, palms touch, look up. As you exhale, fold over the legs, bring your hands to the ground. Find lift in your heart, lengthen your spine as you breathe in. Plant your hands down, step or hop back, chaturanga. Upward facing dog as you inhale. Downward facing dog as you exhale. Heels lift, knees bend, look forward, hop your feet to your hands and fold. Bend the knees, sweep the arms up, Utkatasana, sit nice and low. Find the tips of your fingers, lift your belly and shift your weight into your heels and dare to sit another inch lower. Keep the heart bright. Sit an inch lower. Diver's pose, lift your heels, wing your arms by your side. Diver's pose is Navasana on your toes, so the big toes touch, the heels lift, the breath big. Sit down for chair pose. Drop your heels and reach your arms up towards the sky. This time maybe chair pose a little lower. Diver's pose. Lift your heels, wing your arms by your side, lift your belly and your heart. Lift your heels an inch higher. Sit into chair pose. Ground your heels down, reach your arms up, and sit an inch lower. Last time for Diver's pose, lift your heels, wing your arms by your side, keep your heels lifted. Start to swim your fingertips towards the front of the room. Reach your fingertips as far forward as you can. Lift your belly, reach your seat back towards the back of the room. Take a gaze down at the earth beneath you. Plant your hands flat on the ground. And let's start to play with our crow pose. Step 1 to come into crow pose is to keep the heels high and the knees high. Look about a foot in front of you. Shift all of the weight into the tips of your fingers and trust that the ground is only about a foot away from you. It seems really far away, but it's not. All of the weight shift into the tips of the fingers. Maybe one heel lifts towards your seat. Maybe the other. Keep the heart lifted, the belly lifted, and there is your crow pose. That's crow pose number 1. So a great way to come into crow for beginners will be to start in a squat pose, malasana. Feel free to grab a block and place it underneath your seat long ways. And long ways so that you get a lot more surface area underneath your butt. You should know this, George. Bring your prayer to your heart. Elbows opening up the inner thighs just a little bit. Close your eyes and take a moment to connect with your breath, with that feeling of grounding. Because it is from that grounding that we find the courage to fly. Take a deep breath in. And let a deep breath out. Place your hands on the ground. Parallel the feet as you lift your hips up. Come to forward fold over your legs. Start to heel toe your feet a little closer together. Bring the big toes to touch. Lift your heels. Bend your knees wide and plant your hands flat on the ground, middle fingers pointing straight towards the front of the room. There's an inward rotation of the biceps. Shift your gaze forward and then play with shifting all of the weight into the tips of the fingers so much. Maybe one toe lifts and then maybe the other. The low belly's lifted, the breath is here. Toes can come down to the ground. Child's pose. Arrive in your child's pose. Fingertips reach forward. The seat melts. Take a deep breath in. And release the breath. Thank you, George. Moving on to another really fun way to come into crow pose. It is to use a block underneath your feet to perch yourself up onto. So you're going to bring your toes onto the blocks. Your hands will come down to the ground, and if this is a little wobbly, that's totally fine. Softly bend the knees. Find your hands flat on the ground, maybe about a foot in front of those blocks. Same thing, heart reaches forward. Shift all of the weight into the tips of your fingers, and maybe you pluck one heel towards your seat at a time. Notice that as the heart reaches forward, the toes get lighter. The breath is big, the biceps hug in. And there is another way to come into crow pose. From here, you can come into a squat or take a child's pose. It's your choice. Third way to come into crow pose, and it's really fun if you have a bit more of an advanced practice. You're going to come high on the tips of the toes. Knees and seat are high. The heart and the gaze move forward. And as you shift the weight into the tips of the fingers, notice how light the toes get. Maybe they both float up. From here, option to bring your chin into your chest, softly bringing the crown of the head to the ground. You can bring crow pose into your headstand with a lot of control. The belly lifts. You can lengthen the legs up towards the sky one at a time or both at the same time. Ideas here. inner thighs squeeze together. The big toes and the heels touch. The energy in the feet reaches straight up towards the sky. This will be your more advanced version of crow pose. From here to exit, start to bend the knees slowly. With control, bring the knees to the backs of the biceps. As the belly lifts, the heart lifts, it reaches forward. And you're back in your crow pose. From here, you can bring your feet to the ground or you can hop back for your chaturanga. Squat pose or child's pose. Seat melts towards the heels. Give yourself the gift of taking a big breath in and letting a big breath out. Slowly walk your hands up towards your body. Bring your hands to a prayer at your heart. Take a moment to reconnect with your breath, to honor your strength and your courage to take flight. Sincerely grateful for your breath and your strength. Namaste.